Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about harvesters. This game has several different types of harvesters. We're going to start with what it's called, I guess what you'd call a combine harvester, or if you're in Australia, a header. These are used for, that's to all my Australian buddy farmers out there. These are used for combining or chopping down your wheat, barley, canola, oats, soybeans, sunflowers, all your standard field crops. They're not specialty devices for like carrots or potatoes or sugar beets, but they're for all the normal crops that grow up above the fields. They're made with several parts. We're going to look at the New Holland actually to start with. That's our smallest harvester available right now in the game. This does not include any mods. There's lots of mod harvesters out there. We're looking at in-game and DLC harvesters. So here we have a mid-size New Holland harvester, and it comes with two different headers that you can buy for it. Actually, there's three, but we picked the bigger one. We've got this header, which is for like wheat, barley, canola, any kind of grain. And then this header, which will do sunflowers and corn. Both of these are interchangeable. They fit on the harvester. If you're doing corn, you put this one on, or sunflowers, any other crops, and you're going to put this header on. And then we have the trailers that go with them. And I'm going to show you a neat trick right now because a lot of you are like, well, how do you know? So I'm going to show you how I know. All right. So when I go into the menu, I press the select button to go into menu, and I go to my harvesters. And I'm going to pick my New Holland right here. And this tells me if I press the right stick, down the bottom you can see it says combinations. That shows me what devices work with this harvester. And that's why I bought these. So the 28-foot is compatible with this harvester. So there we go. We bought the 28-footer. Then to find out, these have trailers that work with them. So we need to figure out, how do I figure out what trailer works with it? Because I've had people ask this. They've picked the wrong trailer. The header will not snap onto it. It doesn't work properly. How do I get this to work? So what we do is we have to go back into the menu again. This time I'm going to go to the second option, which is the trailers. And I'm going to pick headers. And I go to my 28-foot header. There's the 28-footer. Once again, I press the right joystick. That shows me that the Nardi 6030 works with it, and the 7030 also works with it. So depending on how complex of a trailer you want, either one of these will work with that header. I picked the 7030 just because I'm cool and can spend money. And so we're going to go ahead and put that on there so you can see it happen. And I'm going to pick this up. And we're going to go ahead and put this on our trailer. And as long as you get it close, like that's, you kind of got to look and just check both sides and see, is it lined up? It's not perfect, but it's lined up. I have to press the X button or the top button. I think probably Y button for most of you. And you can see up in the left-hand corner of the screen, there's a picture of the harvester, and then it's turning white and gray. You want the front piece to be white, and then you're going to press the A button, or if you're on Nintendo, B button. And you can see there, oh, it snapped into place. So it's loaded. And that's that. Now, if I bring my butt over here, I think it's going to be too close to really haul safely. No, we can do that. That's doable. Okay. Okay, so then the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and put that corn header on. Now, we're going to learn. I'm not sure which side this goes on. I'm thinking that it goes this way. Because if you look, there's a little lip here. See that lip? And if I look here, that goes up. So I think this will fit. So let's see what happens. Yeah, perfect. There, it just loaded. It actually worked, I think. Let's see. We're going to attach it and see how this does. So once again, this is new for me. I've never done I usually just carry the corn header on the front of the harvester. And some of the corn headers won't have, they fold up so you don't have a trailer. So like, just to be clear, in the corn header section, these larger guys, I believe starting with this one, the Diamante, you can see here these brackets. This actually folds these rows, the rows 1, 2, 3, and then rows, whatever these are, 7, 8, 9 or whatever. They fold up over the top, so this just sits. In fact, we're going to buy one of these so you can see it. So you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's on there just perfect. Now, I don't know. Let me see here if there's any options for the trailer. You can unfold the cutter trailer. Yeah, see, that's how you load it. So I was right. I got it on the right way. I put it on wrong. What we really should have done. Oh, see how nice that is? So now we're just going to go back and get it. Oh, beautiful. That's just beautiful. Okay. That makes more sense. But this is why we do this, because I want you guys to be able to see this. So, look, there we go. So that's going to be unfolded, and we're just going to leave it there. And when we're done, we come back, and we check out how we're doing. We make sure it's as even as possible. And then we're going to drop it. Good boy. And it snapped. There we go. It snapped into place. And I would honestly pull that with a tractor. I don't think I... Oh, it's not on all the way. Let's see what happens when we load it, if it will do it. It's not pretty. I'd say that's a loss. So I would say, once again, just do it. It seems to be easier to do it this way. When tutorials go wrong. This is the part I'm supposed to test out before we start recording. Okay. There we go. Now it's on. And so it seems to me easier to load from the side like you did the other harvester or other header than it is to load from the front. But it's on there. Let's see if we crash if it pops off. Nope, it stayed on. So a little unrealistic physics there. But I wanted to show you the other one. You can see the other corn header there is folded up. And to me, that's a better system for transport, because then you can put that on the front and the header on the back and move all three pieces at once. That way you can, if you got corn and other stuff that you're going to harvest, this allows you to have both available. So let's go ahead and put this on. Come on. There we go. So this unfolds just like that. Now, this is too big for this harvester, but you can see it unfolding. There you go. And then you can fold it back up for transport. Well, that's how that works. So back to our menu. So really, the only thing that really makes a big difference in the harvesters is size. The bigger they are, the more expensive they are. They all seem to run for about the same amount of time. So, like, let's say, you look at this one and it's got a capacity of 4,900 there on the left or underneath here. It says 4,900 liters is what this carries before you have to empty it. So it would seem like going up to this harvester that has 14,000 liters, like, well, this thing's going to run a lot longer than this guy, but it won't, because this has a much larger header, so it sucks in more material. They both run about a row and a half, and then you have to empty them. So that's just, it doesn't make that part any easier, but it makes it much more material that you're collecting all at once. So the bigger the harvester, the more material it collects, the faster you get your fields done. However, this harvester is just as capable of getting it done as this harvester. They just do it faster. So the bigger the fields are, the bigger the harvester you want. With the game as it is now, these are really expensive. You may want to consider each year just leasing for the first couple of years. And it's going to cost you about $30,000 to lease the harvester and the header. And so if you go down to the lesser level, let's say we're just going to lease this guy, the little, we'll do that one. $6,000. So it's a lot cheaper to do the smaller harvesters if you're willing to take a little bit longer to get it done. But that gives you an idea of those combines. So these combine harvesters are once again used for corn. and soybean, and then also wheat, barley, canola, and all those other things. Let's go ahead and clear the field here, and we'll move on to the next type of harvester. But you can see here, that's how they work. Oh, I should probably show you a little bit of operation. First of all, once again, we'll unfold this. You got to unfold that. If I press the Y button at the top of the joystick again, or X for some of you, but for most of you, it's going to be Y. I'm going to select the harvester, and I'm going to open my menu here. I have to hold the left bumper down, and before I start harvesting, I have to press the A button to unfold the harvester. You will not be able to harvest until you do that. I think they all do this. And what that does is that opens the hopper so you can start putting grain in there. And then you're going to hold the button again, and you're going to press the button to start it working. And then the left button, and it is going to be the X button that starts and stops it. Now here's an interesting thing. What does enable swath mean? If I hold down the left bumper and I press the right button, you can see some changes happen at the back. See that happening? I don't know if you can... Let's see if I can get the camera closer so you can see that again. We're going to do it again. Okay, so that goes down like that. And if I do it again, enable straw swath. So what this does, all right, when I have it set to enable, which it's enabled right now, as I harvest wheat or barley or oats, this harvester will leave a path of straw, all the stalks, on the ground. You can then follow behind with a baler or a loading wagon and collect that material and use it for your animals. You can make bales out of it and sell them. They're not worth a ton of money, but they're worth some money. But, you know, the combine harvester, what it does is it cuts the wheat off the ground using the cutter. And this is the wrong header, but with our wheat cutter, it cuts the wheat at the ground level, maybe 2 or 3 inches above the ground. It then takes it inside the harvester, and it's going to have the stalk and the seed. And what we really want, the grain. What we really want to keep is the grains. We don't want the stalks. We want just the grains. So inside here, there's a process that cuts, or shakes, the whole thing shakes inside, and it shakes those grains out of the stalk, and the grains go up into the hopper, and the stalks come out the back. Okay. Now, if I go to the harvester again, and I close that off, and I say disable straw swath, now what's going to happen is instead of it making a nice path on the ground, it spreads those stalks all over the ground. Now, in real life, farmers don't mind this because they can use it as a fertilizer. In the game, it doesn't have any benefit, but it just keeps the field clear so you don't have to pick the straw up off the ground. You never do anyway, but if you want to play it realistically and you're not going to collect it, like you're not going to bale it, then you want to go ahead and disable the straw swath. Let the straw go all over the field, because that's what they do in real life. The next thing that you can do with this harvester is to take the pipe in and out by pressing down left. I'm holding the left button down and then pressing down on the controller. And what that does is when the harvester gets full, you can unload your crop into a tipper or an auger wagon that's attached to a tractor, or you can unload it into a semi-truck. So this gives you the ability to unload the full harvester, and you'll be doing that a lot. So that's the operation. Once again, you got to open it up. When you're done, you can turn the harvester's on, harvester's off. When you're done and everything's all empty, once the grain is all emptied out, you can then fold the harvester back up and put it away. So that's how that works. And once again, to fold and unfold it, I hold the left bumper and I press the A button. See that? And that unfolds so we can operate. And then once the grain has to be out of it. If it won't close, if you're like, dang, I can't get it to close, that means there's still grain in it. And you can see down on the bottom right hand side where it says 0%, that's where the grain is. If that has a percentage in there, like 5%, and it gives you a number, that means that you have grain sitting in the hopper. So you'll have to get that out of there. So that is it for the regular combines. Let's go ahead and move on to our other types of harvesters. And now we get to the grand assortment of harvesters. There's a lot of different things here. All right, so first of all, Let's talk forage harvesters. This is a unique piece of equipment. They also call it a chopper. Now here you can see I'm putting the pipe out. This one does not. This is the only harvester that doesn't, aside from putting the pipe out, it doesn't really need to unfold. It has no capacity. In other words, you can't put anything inside of it. It basically chops it and throws it back into a wagon behind it, or maybe if you have a tractor pulling a wagon alongside of it and you hire a worker, it'll throw whatever's inside, whatever you're chopping will get thrown into the trailer that the tractor's pulling. It has multiple headers, just like the headers for the regular harvesters, the combine harvesters, and those headers do have trailers available for them. So they have like a header for this. Even though this folds up, you don't really need it, but they also have headers for the mowers. So let's go and take a look at what this comes with. We have both the regular version. You also have a much more affordable Lacotech tractor-mounted version. That said, this tractor is a little small for this. I would recommend a 300-plus horsepower tractor to do this. This takes the same headers that the actual harvester takes. So you can either use this, which is cheap, but it's small, and kind of tough to use, but it works, or use this harvester. But these are made, what are these forage harvesters for? I have a whole tutorial on it. Simplified. They're made for chopping up crops. They don't harvest anything aside from the materials, and they chop it up. They don't give you grain. They don't give you straw. They just eat it and put it into chopped up material that you can then feed to your cows. So the first, we're going to come back to this. That's the last thing. But for both of these, you can attach what's called a corn header. This unfolds and chops up corn into little itty bits that go into a tipper. If you have grass that you've mowed and you want to pick it up, you can use this to pick up the grass off the ground. It picks it up and it goes inside these big choppers. See there the choppers, and you can also see there the choppers. Those will grind and chop the grass up and put it into a tipper. And last but not least, if you want to just mow the grass, you can use, I don't know why you do this, but I guess if you already have one, you can use this to make grass also. So if you want to mow grass and then keep the grass, it's the same thing as chaff. You can still make silage out of it. It does all the same things, but you can use this to mow. I don't know if this works with it. Let's try it real quick. I know the corn headers work with this, but I'm not sure. Master Cracker. If these two work, let's see. No, it does. Yeah. So you can use these tools with it also. I did a terrible job. Now I've messed up my beautiful display. So once again, this is made specifically for chopping crops to bits. Oh, you can also use this not just for mowing grass, but if you want to get oats, wheat, barley, canola, any kind of crop that is a grain crop. So I don't think this won't work with corn or sunflowers. You have to use this. But this will mow up corn, canola, soybean, wheat, barley, oats, sorghum. And you can chop that up and turn it into material for your cows. I don't really see why you'd want to do that if you're going to really nicely care for your crops and then just chop them to bits. But corn is very dense. So I can see growing corn for your cows because corn is real dense. You get a lot of material out of it. So using this to chop corn is what most farmers do. Now, we have a weird attachment here that I need to cover because it doesn't really have a category, but this is specifically for poplar. If you've planted poplar on your fields, you can either use the Anderson baler that bales the poplar into large wood bales, or you can take this, and this will take the harvester and it'll chop it up and turn them into wood chips. So that's a little side note there, but that's what the forage harvester does. Moving right along, this monster is for harvesting potatoes. It's the only one that we have in game. There are lots of mods out there that are smaller. At $500,000, this thing is not cheap. You can also do potatoes with a tractor. You have a tractor-pulled harvester, which is this guy. But before you do that, you have to cut the tops. They call this like topping the crops. So you cut the plant off the top of the potatoes using this, and then you go back with this. I wish you could do it all in one pass. However, you'll notice underneath here, I'm trying to crouch. I can't. You can see those blades there. They're only on one side. This picks up 2 rows of potatoes. Then nothing happens on the other side. So if you run it down and you don't have them topped, you're still going to have to go over the same area twice because you can only collect 2 at a time, whereas this goes the whole width. Now it's different. For the sugar beet version, you have a similar idea. You have a topper, and then you have this sugar beet harvester that goes on the back of the tractor. This does the whole thing, so you can run the chopper and the harvester at the same time, this rooster, and chop the harvester out. This is very useful, and it's a much cheaper way than having to buy the $500,000 sugar beet harvester. There's 3 sugar beet harvesters in game. They're all like $500,000. Once again, these need to be just like the regular harvester that you use, the potato harvester, the sugar beet harvester. They have to be unfolded. So you press left bumper A, and you can see these things fold out. You can see it's coming out here. So it gets itself ready for use. I mean, in all honesty, that's pretty cool. Look at the size of that thing. But yeah, it's probably the biggest harvester in the game. Let's see, can we put the pipe out? No. Oh, this has an all-wheel steering mode too. That's pretty cool. Crab left. Why would you crab? Sometimes you're just not in a good mood. No, I'm just kidding. Crabbing is so that you save your fields without damaging them. You crab to the right. That way, the wheels don't pass over the same part of the field twice. It makes it a little bit harder to steer, but there's front wheel steering, and then we had it on all-wheel steering. It's easy to turn with all-wheel steering on. So I guess this pipe doesn't... Oh, you can. You can use the joystick to raise and lower the pipe. See that? That's that guy. Once again, for the sugar beet harvester, this is the same idea. Or for the potato harvester, I'm sorry. You have to pick the back because you're on a tractor now. You have to unfold it. Whoops. Let's move away. You have to unfold it. I'm stuck. Come on. I'm touching. No touchy. Okay, this thing unfolds too. You need a big tractor, and this is a 300 horsepower tractor, but this thing is pretty big. Oh, yeah. And the topper does not have to fold, so. This does allow you to put the pipe out. That's the pipe out position. That way you can dump it into a tipper. Otherwise it sits like this. Yeah. So those are the potato harvesters. Sugar beet harvesters, same idea. I think this one unfolds a little bit neater. It keeps the same size. It has multiple steering modes, just like the Grimmy potato harvester. This one does have a pipe out, so when you're ready to unload, it can overload into a tractor or truck. This also has the steering modes. There we go. This one has a nice, you can do the whole cab. This makes it a little bit easier to turn. But it has multiple modes. You can mess around with that. Same thing here. This just has to be unfolded. I'll press A to do that. That's it. It's unfolded right now. This is the pipe out. It's got this little thing that goes out, and you can unload it. You can just leave the pipe out if you want. You don't have to put it back. But this is a much more economical way to do the sugar beets. Takes a long time to get them done. All right, so next up, cotton harvester. Self-explanatory. If you grow cotton, this is what you're going to use to harvest it. This one I'm unfolding, and there is automatic drop is what I use. There is no pipe on this one because it comes out in a giant bale out the back. The Case makes square bales. The John Deere makes giant round bales. So depending on what you want, if you want square bales, you make the Case. I believe the Case is square. Let me look real quick here. I'm going to double check that, guys. Yeah, 448 centimeter square bales. The John Deere makes the round bales. Same idea, just this unfolds differently and makes them round instead of square. That's the cotton harvester. Your own cotton, you're going to have to use that. $500,000 or $1 million if you want John Deere. Here, this is an olive harvester. When this unfolds, all it does is raise up so you're above the olives, and you just drive it right above you put the fencing or the vine that the olives are growing on in the middle. You turn the harvester on, and it knocks them down into the harvester, and it picks the olives up and puts them into these bins on the side. Pretty simple. Grape harvesters work the same way. You have that center pass through that the vineyard goes through, or the vines go through. And you follow the fence posts and drive along, and it shakes the grapes off the plant, and they come up into the bins. This one is configurable in a side loading capacity too, so you can load it into a tractor next to you if you don't want to load it onto the harvester, but that's what these look like. Basically, you just put the row right in the center and drive. Very simple. Next up, we have a vegetable harvester. This harvester is new. Came out with the Platinum Edition. This is designed to harvest carrots, parsnips, and red beets, or in America we call them just beets. I want to get into that. Not that that's far. Nope. Hold on. All right, I'm into debrief. I'm going to pull this back. One of my viewers, I believe it's from Denmark, that makes this, and he was like, hey, he lives in Denmark. He's like, that's our Denmark pride. So this basically just harvests them. This has no capacity. So unlike the potato and sugar beet harvesters, once you start using it, it's already full. You have to run a tractor alongside it to keep it empty. So it works like a forage harvester. It won't run unless there's somebody next to it with a tipper. But this is how it runs. All right, so that's a pretty cool device. And then on a little different note, we have the same device from DeWolf, but it's a one row. This only does one row at a time. And it does have a hopper. So this one, you can fill it up and then drive over to the side, lift the pipe up like that, and dump it into a tipper. And then put it back down again and continue harvesting. Or you can just leave it up. You can actually just leave it up there and it'll still harvest. But this only does one row at a time. As you can see, it's got the one row. This one does, I believe, 4. Yeah, 4 rows. So it's going to take you a lot longer to use this. But if you're by yourself, this is a nice option because it can hold. And there's about 5 or 6 different ones that you can get in the shop that do this. So from back-mounted small ones to ones that make pallets to ones that side tip and you have to have a tractor running alongside, there's a whole selection of DeWolf, and I'll show you real quick just to be thorough. We have all of these different harvesters. This one makes pallets. It actually attaches to a tractor. It's not a trailer. This one side loads into another tipper while one harvests and the other guy drives alongside. So this requires 2 people to do. This one's the one that we're showing you. And then we have a bigger version of that, of the side loader. It does 2 rows at a time. As you can see here, it's got 2 rows. And last but not least, this giant one that makes 4 pallets. It still only does 1 row at a time, but you get 4 pallets, and then you can dump them on the ground and then get 4 more. It's basically this guy, but a real big version of that. So this one makes 1 pallet at a time. So we have a series running right now called Zoop Zoop Zoop. If you want to see this in action or this type of device in action, please be sure to check out that video because we're doing that in that video. We're making soup. So last but not least, we have the sugar beet harvester or sugar cane harvester. I'm sorry, not sugar beet. This guy takes in sugar cane and chops it up, spits it out into a trailer that's following. It kind of throws it so the trailer can drive alongside. It throws the husks and it drops down, but you have to follow pretty close with the trailer. I think the pipe is adjustable. Pipe is out right now. Fold harvester, lower harvester. No. Okay, that's it, huh? I thought this thing pivoted. Oh, I think it does it automatically. It detects where the trailer is and pivots. So this big tail on the back actually pivots to this, like, side to side, depending on where your sugarcane trailer is. You will need this also when you're doing sugarcane. Either one of these tippers will do. These are specifically sugarcane tippers. It's an expensive venture. Not many people do it. And then we have the drag behind version. Same exact thing, but this is for little sugarcane harvesting. This takes forever. It's a nightmare. Oh, and I can't. This one won't attach because it's the wrong size. The tractor's too small. But it's either it runs out to the side, and then it does the same thing. The pipe will follow wherever the trailer is and dump into it. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and it was helpful in helping you understand how the harvesters work, what they are, what they do, each different type. You got a whole bunch of different equipment here that does different stuff, but the takeaway is that, obviously the header trailer is learning how to figure out, let's see, for example, a forage header, what's compatible with it by right-clicking. I can go here, click that. Oh, that shows you what harvester it works with. This shows you what harvester that works with. This shows you what trailer it works with and what harvester it works with. How about this one? There's no trailer for that one. No trailer. This works with all these harvesters. Yeah, that's neat stuff. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. And we will see you next time on Farm Simulator 22. Bye.